And for the #1 spot of the year for me, what's up guys, today we are going to be giving some Racquet Awards of the Year. That's right, today I'm going to be saying my top 5 Rackets of the year, followed by the Bust of the Year.
We suck again!
So if you're interested in seeing what I got to say today, stick around. And of course guys, if you want to pick up any of the rackets that I'm about to mention in this video, please go check out Tennis On. You guys can use my code to get a little bit of a discount there. And they have all of these rackets online for pickup. So as you guys know, there's great rackets that are created every year. We got a lot of new rackets actually coming out this upcoming year, which I'll get into later in the video, tell you guys what I'm really looking forward to using and demoing for you guys this upcoming year. But there's great rackets that come out every year. One thing I say in my videos, there's not really a bad racket anymore. All the rackets play great. The technology that's being put into this rackets is incredible. These brands are working very hard to try and make us happy, make us play with their frame from their company, and they're all doing a great job. So round of applause to all the brands. Before, I'm gonna say 5 that I like the most, just because I like these 5. Doesn't mean the rest are terrible, just means that I enjoyed playing with these ones the most this past year. One thing to note as well, some of these frames may have not come out in this calendar year, but I did review them and play with them. So that's just one thing to note. So let's get into it. First, we have an honorable mention before we get into the top 5, and that is the PT57A. I could not put this one in the top 5 because this racket's been out for years and years and years, but I was lucky enough to actually play with this racket, Andy Murray's edition, a few months ago in Florida. So this was just like an amazing experience for me. Andy's one of my favorite players of all time. He's recently retired, sadly. He did finish out using with an E-Zone 100, I believe, but it was just very fulfilling to, use his racket, see how tough it is to play, and yeah, just a great experience. I do actually recommend everybody, if they can eventually get their hands on a racket like that, it's very humbling. Even a player like me, it's tough to use those rackets. So honorable mention goes to the PT57A. Coming in at the 5th spot here is the Dunlop FX 500 Tour. I demoed this racket back in the summer. This is a racket that I really enjoyed, and it's honestly a hidden gem, I think. I gave it a good review. It played really good from the back. It played good on serves. Wasn't unstable or anything. Sometimes with those rackets, you feel like it's a little wobbly up at the net. I didn't really have that. The one regret I have with this racket is I wish I played different strings with it. I tested Super Toro in it, and maybe I would even have liked it more if I played with a stiffer string, Caviar from Tourline, maybe Restring, Confidential, Lynx Tour, strings like that. I might have liked it a little bit more. It might have brought down the power level. But in the video, I actually said there was something missing and that I didn't really connect with it to say that it would be in my top 5. But after actually thinking about it a lot, I believe this racket is in my top 5, and that's why I am giving it the 5th spot. So now going into the 4th spot, we're gonna give this one to the Babolat Rafa Origin. And you guys might be like, Cade, you would never play with this in a real match. But I don't care. This racket is a beast. I demoed it. I loved it. You're right, I would probably never use it in a match, but it was one of my favorite play tests of the year. It was awesome to finally get my hands on this racket. It plays so solid. It's just like a friggin' sledgehammer through the air. Sometimes sledgehammer gets thrown around in a negative way, but just so solid coming through the air. Backhand was solid, forehand was solid, really solid across the board. A lot of time with Babolat frames, sometimes I have a hard time at the net. Didn't have a hard time at the net with this racket at all. On serves, it was lethal. Overall, very happy with this racket. And of course, if you guys can try this one, I recommend trying it. So that's number 4. Coming in at number 3, we're gonna give it to this Head Speed MP. This racket I was very close to switching to actually this year. I did even play some tournaments with it, and it didn't end up catching the #1 position this year. It's in the #3 position. Great frame overall. It gave me a lot of free power, and that's what I really loved about this racket. It didn't sacrifice you know, too much control compared to some other rackets that I demoed that were more power oriented, but then once I played with some other rackets, I realized I liked them more, which is why I ended up kind of putting the Speed MP aside. But I did play with this racket for a while. It's a great frame. It's a 1619 bed, very open. I played a hybrid in it, my Super Tour and my Caviar at the time. Very solid overall. Had to add a little bit of lead tape to make it feel a little bit more stable for me, but overall, great frame and a great offering from Head, and that's why it's getting the number 3 spot. The number 2 spot is its twin or half twin or whatever you want to call it, its brother or sister, is the Head Speed Pro. So while I was actually testing the Speed MP, I also tested the Speed Pro for an extended period of time, and now I can say that I actually enjoy the Speed MP, the Speed Pro more, just because it felt a little bit more solid, a little bit more control oriented. I did love that free power from the Speed MP, but I did enjoy the Pro, I think, a little bit more. Kind of felt like I had a little bit more of a security blanket, could swing out a little bit more. It's nice. It's a unique feeling to have a 100 square inch racket that's an 1820 bed. Felt pretty good on serve, solid up at the net on touch and feel, and just felt a little bit more of a total package compared to the Speed MP. So that's why that racket is in the number 2 spot. All right, and for the number 1 spot of the year for me, it goes to the Head Extreme Pro. You guys know I love this racket. We have had a very special journey with this particular racket line on the channel. A couple years back, I used the old original Extreme Tour for my first 2 years here at school. I loved it. I then kind of went to the Radical, played around with that for a year. Great frame as well. I didn't want to put the Radical in this video because I did use it last year, so, you know, didn't really make sense having this video. But yeah, then I came back to this racket and I love it. And I've been loving it ever since. I've been using this ever since I came back to school, so late August. And I can say that I'm happy with it. It does everything good for me. And I think, once again, like the Dunlop FX500 Tour, this racket is a sleeper. For some reason, I feel like a lot of people shy away from the Extreme line, especially at maybe a higher level, because they feel like, I don't need that power, I don't need that spin, I'm too good for that. Similar to players that shy away from the Aero because they feel like they're too good. I don't really believe in that. After playing with something like this for a couple years and going to a Rad, which was a little bit more control oriented, I felt like I wanted to go back to this. It really checks all the boxes for me, and yeah, I can't really blame it for anything. I love it. So the winner of this year is the Head Extreme Pro on our channel, and it's that time for the bust of the year.
Ugh, you're the worst.
And the bust of the year goes to the Wilson RF01 Pro. Now you guys, I know I'm creating some tension because I know people love this racket, but I also know people are on the same page with me. I did not like this racket. I was heavily disappointed, and yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say about it. You can go watch my review if you would like to know more about it. But overall, I was just very unhappy with this racket. I think they could have done a lot better. It's way too stiff for the average user. You could put a hybrid in it, but it's just not it for me. So this is the bust of the year, Wilson RF01 Pro. With that being said, there's some rackets that are coming up though here in 25 that I'm very excited about. Some of these rackets have actually already dropped. I'm just waiting to get my hands on them. One I'm really excited about is the Yonex E-Zone line. Honestly, the reason why I'm excited for this one is just because I think the paint job looks so good. It's like a perfect blue. I know some people hate this paint job, but like sometimes when paint jobs come out, you're just like, I want to try this racket so bad. And that's what it is for me. I can't wait to get my hands on this E-Zone. The second racket line I'm excited to talk about and show you guys is the Solinco Whiteout series. They're coming out with a new line, sorry, not a new line, a new edition of the Whiteout. Looks fairly similar, but the paint job's a little bit different. I'm sure they've changed a couple of things, so it'll be fun to talk about this racket with you guys as well in this line. Next, the Gravity line. They've already launched the Gravity. It just came out, so this is another one that I'm excited to get my hands on. I've had trouble in the past with the Gravity, really connecting it to potentially, want to switch to this racket. It's a great frame and a great line, so I'm wondering what they've done to, make it better. And then also we have the new head radicals that are coming out. You guys know that I did use the radical. We talked about it earlier here. I used this racket for a year. I used this racket when I was younger as a junior as well. So the radical still has a special place in my heart. So it'll be nice to try this one as well and tell you guys what I think about it. And then last but not least, I'm excited to give the new Pure Drives a go. I've played with the Pure Drive before. I've never actually done any videos about a Pure Drive, which is surprising. So we will get a Pure Drive video on here, I promise. So I'm very excited to test these out. And of course, if you guys want to pick up any of these rackets again, once again, you guys can use my code at Tennyson to get a little bit of a discount. There you have it. Thanks so much for watching this video. These were my top 5 favorite rackets of the year, alongside the bust of the year, and of course the ones that I've been looking forward to testing in this upcoming year. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.